Okay, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to another SolarWinds briefing in 2020. Delighted that you could join us today, and thanks for taking the time out to spend with us today. My name is John O'Callaghan. I look after international product marketing for SolarWinds. I'm actually based in our Cork, Ireland office, and delighted today to be joined by my eminent colleague, Sir Mark Dorney. Mark, good morning to you.
Good morning, John. How are you today? Good morning, everybody.
Nice, beautiful day in Cork today. Clear skies, sunshine, a little bit chilly, but better than the last few days anyway. So we'll probably hopefully get out for a good brisk walk later on. Mark will probably run us a marathon or something like that, keep himself busy later on.
I need the marathons too, John.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about Cisco, SolarWinds and Juniper, and how SolarWinds solutions support these environments. And obviously these are very popular technologies out in the marketplace. But before we get to that, if you have any questions, please feel free to use the Q&A or the chat boxes to send us any questions during the course of the event, and we'll do our best to answer all those questions before the end. If you have any feedback, if you're already using SolarWinds technologies and you want to give us some feedback, or if you're looking for information in general, obviously you can use our website, but you can also go to the SolarWinds online community called TWAC, which is a great name. I think it came from the Batman series. But basically you can go in there, you can ask questions, get lots of great information, and you can also put in things like feature requests. So if you're running SolarWinds solutions and you like a lot of what you're seeing and you want to see more, you can go in and put in those feature requests. And then there's a voting community. People will vote on the idea, and the product management teams in SolarWinds keep an eye on those. And if something goes viral, as they say, on the online community, it certainly gets the attention of the product marketing folk and the product management teams as well. Also, if you'd like to get a one-to-one demo on any of the technologies we're going to discuss today, please feel to request that also through the chat box or the Q&A. We'll run a poll at the end in relation to if you want to get a demo or not, but if you want to request that specifically in the chat box, you can certainly do that. Just to kick things off, a quick poll in relation to what we're talking about today. So this is a very simple one. I'll leave it open and people can answer this one. It's a multi-answer one. You can select as many as you like here. So basically, what network technology are you guys using today? You know, we've got a whole bunch of technologies here: Cisco, Juniper, Palo Alto, F5, Fortinet, Dell, HPE, Huawei, others. So if you want to pop in there and you can tell us what technologies you're running, and we'll come back to that in a few minutes, and I'll share the results with you there as well. Okay, so let's get into the meat of the day, as I say. So we're going to, as I said, talk about powerful IT operations management for Cisco and Juniper environments. So SolarWinds, as you know, we've been kind of enhancing our story to the marketplace in the last 12 months or so. We've created this comprehensive IT operations management portfolio. We've had lots of products for many years, but we wanted to create a simpler story for customers and our partners around the world to kind of understand the full offering of the organization. So as you can see here, our ITOM, our IT operations management portfolio, consists of 6 main pillars. The pillar across the top there is service management, and deliberately not IT service management, because service management requests can come from anywhere in an organization. So it could be financial requests, or it could be HR, it could be procurement, legal, whatever department, could be individuals looking for support. So we kind of have this broad service management capability across the top there. And then, of course, the monitoring, the analysis, the management side of things come in terms of the technology side, are in the 4 orange pillars there. Starting with application on top, of course, and applications performance management is one of the fastest growing areas of monitoring and management. And of course, you know, it's the king of the hill, because if an application slows down or it fails, then that will have potential kind of operational impacts or financial impacts to an organization. So people would certainly want to make sure they keep an eye on application performances. And of course, that includes websites as well. And in today's world, where we're seeing things like online shopping taking off, anybody who's got an online presence will want to ensure that their website performance and user experience levels are maintained as required. Of course, many of these applications will require database performance as well. So we've got a layer in there called database performance management. And we can cover all of the most common databases out there, all the kind of relational databases, Oracle, Microsoft SQL, DB2, Sybase, amongst many. And we've also acquired a new technology, Database Performance Monitor, which is a SaaS-based offering that can also now monitor the performance of the NoSQL open source type databases, MongoDB, Redis, Amazon Aurora, etc. So we can fairly well cover all of the major databases that people are using out there. Then, of course, we come into infrastructure, and that's your servers, that's your storage, your virtual machines, your virtual environment, etc. And then, of course, the network management is where I suppose Cisco is typically known most for, and that's obviously very important in today's world as well. If a network slows down or degrades or fails, that can have a major impact to organizations as well. And of course, today we're talking about Cisco and Juniper, and Cisco in particular, have elements across multiple levels of those environments there. So obviously in the network side of things, but they're also in the infrastructure side with their UCS platforms. They've got storage devices, etc. So we're going to cover some of that in the session as well. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the IT security one, which is kind of permeating across all of the layers because people have security concerns at the application level, the database level, infrastructure level, and network level. And we've got some very specific offerings in the security area. Security is a very fragmented marketplace, of course, as you probably well know. There's over 450 different vendors offering their wares into the marketplace. So what we've done is selected a number of key areas. So we've got kind of a very cost-effective SIEM solution. Again, that will interconnect with the technologies we're talking about today. We've also got a solution for access rights management and permissions management, which is something that organizations typically are not the best at doing. And then, of course, we've got things like patch management, configuration management, etc. in there as well. So that's just a nice simple view of the offering that we have. So getting into the Cisco side of things, obviously from the network side, it's fairly comprehensive, right? So you can see here on the left-hand side a list of the typical products that you will see from SolarWinds. We've also got an enterprise solution called Network Automation Manager, which includes many of these products in a single purchase. And of course, from a Cisco perspective, you can see that the list at the bottom there, the technologies that we support with our solutions. So if it's Cisco Nexus or ACI or routers and switches and Meraki, you got NetFlow, you got NBAR2 specific protocols in there. So very much Cisco, powerful Cisco monitoring across these. And then, of course, that's the technology side of it. What are we doing? We're so monitoring the health, availability, and performance of Cisco devices, making sure they're all running as they should be. Monitoring bandwidth utilization, and Cisco do this very well with their NBAR2 as well in terms of the application recognition services they have. Configuration management, of course, and of course we have for the Cisco SIP environment as well, the voice over IP and network quality management solutions there. And then typically you're going to have things like IP address management as well for capacity, and anybody who logs onto those Cisco networks, we want to make sure that those are not rogue devices, so we've got technology to help us with that as well. So on the network side, very, very powerful. Moving into the system side of things, obviously the Cisco UCS chassis has been increasing its market share over the last, I suppose now, 5-7 years at this stage. I can't remember exactly when it was introduced, maybe longer than that. Mark, can you recall how long is that in the marketplace?
Oh, top of my head, I can't remember, John. Yeah. I think we're getting too old.
Let's say 10 years, right? Let's round it up to 10, right? But obviously they're competing with the juggernauts, the gorillas in the marketplace. So you're talking about the Dells and the HPEs of this world who kind of have owned the server market for many, many years. IBM, of course, had their AIX platform. The HPUX platform is kind of dropping a little bit, but HP have kind of focused a lot on the high-powered computing as well. So, Cisco came into that marketplace. People were questioning it at the time, why is Cisco entering the server market? And but they've actually done quite well with the UCS. And of course, from a monitoring perspective, you also want to monitor those devices, and you also want to monitor the virtual machines that are sitting on these environments as well, and the databases, right? So everything, when we look at these products here, server and application monitoring, database performance analysis, server configuration monitoring will all apply to servers or virtual machines which are running on this platform as well. We also have in our app stack layer in the Orion demo Mark will cover later on, we have actually a layer for the UCS chassis itself as well. And then, of course, we get into hyperconvergence and virtualization. So I used to work for EMC, and EMC and Cisco and VMware kind of combined with this the vBlock technologies, and of course this will run across multiple monitoring requirements. So you've got your network in there, you've got your virtualization, you've got your storage and your server and application as well. So we can monitor all of those elements within the vBlocks. And then on the VersaStack side, which also uses the UCS with the IBM combination there as well. And of course, then finally, on the Cisco side, we have the storage side of things. So they've got quite a portfolio of storage offerings. Again, when I worked at EMC, we used to compete with these technologies in the past. But the storage resource monitor solution, it's a multi-vendor solution. Monitors, I don't know how many different vendors, lots of them anyway. And of course, we also monitor fiber channel switches using NPM as well, or network performance monitor. So Cisco end-to-end, whether it's network systems, hyperconverged solutions, storage devices, fiber channel switches, etc., we can cover all of those. And then when it gets into security, of course, I mentioned earlier on, we can also collect logs from lots of devices. So you can do that natively with Log Analyzer on the Orion platform, but we've also got a very cost-effective SIEM solution called Security Event Manager. And this allows you to collect logs and analyze them from thousands of devices and provide information on any kind of breaches or attacks. It's also got things like FIM in there, file integrity monitoring, and it's got USB Defender management, etc. On the configuration side then, of course, network configuration management, a key one as well in terms of compliance, making sure everything is up to speed. And there's even some of the policies that Cisco have published, which Network Configuration Manager can look at and make sure that you're in compliance with those environments. And of course, Patch Manager, making sure systems are up to speed. That's systems and servers and so on as well. And then finally, to wrap things up into the IT service management piece, we have SolarWinds Service Desk, we have Web Help Desk, and of course some organizations are going to be using third-party products such as ServiceNow and so on. So we can also take any alerts that are coming from Cisco devices, be that the server, be it the storage device, be it a network device. We can route that alert into any one of those service management solutions. We've got native integration with ServiceNow. We've got native integration with our own service desk as well to provide really an end-to-end kind of capability around monitoring, alerting, analyzing. I suppose monitor, analyze, alert, and then manage. So we can provide that end-to-end capability there. Moving into Juniper, so Juniper, also very, very popular in the network side of things. I met some customers at Cisco Live the last time I was on, and we had chats about this, and people were, we were talking about the trends in networking and so on, and vendors. And a lot of people came up and said they were using Juniper routers and network switches, or Cisco switches, as a kind of a combination. So Juniper routing technologies were very highly regarded in the network space. But again, you can see down there the kind of list of technologies that we support natively from a Juniper perspective. And we had lots of requests on our TWAC forum as well about Juniper and adding more capabilities. And we've added lots of stuff, things in NCM recently as well for Juniper. So you can see there are the products that would apply to it. So network performance monitoring, net flow traffic analysis, network configuration management, IP address manager, user device tracker, and engineers toolset, which is a set of small tools to help network engineers diagnose issues and so on as well. So lots of capability there. Also, of course, on the security side, same story applies. These technologies are multi-vendor, so we can collect logs from Juniper devices. We can analyze those, and if there's any kind of attacks going on through the network, our SIEM solution can identify those and help bring that to a stop. Okay. And then, of course, the IT service management, again, same idea. Juniper device creates an alert. We can send that to an incident management solution as well. So kind of standard common practices that we would have across the monitoring and management layer. Okay, so before we get into the demo, just going back here to look at the poll. So I can tell you straight away, so quite a lot of ones made an appearance, but Cisco are looking at they're about 50% of the total that I'm seeing here. Juniper are second largest, so that's you're in the right spot if that's the case. Other was in there. We had a small bit of HPE, a little bit more Dell, same as Dell and Fortinet kind of looked even, and F5 or even Palo Alto a little bit as well. So all of them made an appearance, but Cisco and Juniper were the highest ones. So looks like we're on the right track, Mark, in today's session, which is good. Okay, so with that, I'm going to hand control over to Mark. Mark is going to give us a presentation, or a demonstration, I should say, in the technologies and how they work with the Cisco and the Juniper environment. So, Mark, you have control.
Thank you very much, John. Very comprehensive, in-depth, informative slides there. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, guys, my name is Mark Dorney. I'm a senior pre-sales engineer with SolarWinds. I've been with the company going on 7 years now. So, what I'm going to take you through today will be mainly focused on the network side. I'll show you a bit, as John was saying, what the server and application monitor can show you an app stack with the UCS with Cisco. For anyone who's unfamiliar, what you're seeing here is what we call the Orion platform. And the Orion platform is a .NET framework that we built up that provides common services like grouping, mapping, you have per stack, you have performance analysis, you have your top 10. It's an alerting engine, syslog traps, there's a reporting engine, you have an automatic network discovery, all your user management, your grouping, your dependencies, all that. So basically what happens is every dashboard is a separate product that sits on top of this platform. And obviously it's a Windows operating system, Windows Server, and all the data is written to an SQL database. So what I'm going to focus on today will be these three products because we're aimed at the network modules today. So it'll be the network performance monitor, the netflow traffic analyzer, and the network configuration manager. So what I'm going to begin is with the network performance monitor. And this tool is an advanced tool to show you the performance of how the device on your network, the hardware health, how the device and interface level is performing. So you can see we're not just aimed at Cisco and Juniper, we're vendor agnostic. So we use industry standard protocols such as ICMP for up-down status and SNMP to get all our detailed status, WMI for Windows servers. So this is a nice summary view. I like this map myself. It relates back to a lot of our customers, showing you the MPS layer, the various different devices, how they're connected. And if there's any utilization, you can see if there's any power supply, fan, temperature issues there happening on the devices also. Okay. So what I'm going to do is you can scroll down, you can see all the active alerts, and you can see the interface for high percent utilization, VLANs, etc. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to expand the Cisco, and these are devices which we're currently monitoring. You can see the status, which are warning, which are critical, which are down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill down on what we call a regular device in network performance monitor for Cisco. Okay. So what you're going to see here, great resource here, and you can see the various different status of the node. So quite quickly I can determine that there's an issue with hardware health and some of the interfaces are down. I can see the system name, the description, the software version, etc. Again, the hardware health will be displayed down here. So you can see if there's any fan, power issues, temperature. And you can see here there's low voltage here in these. Okay? Anything that you see within the software can be reported and alerted on. What you're seeing here then is the vital stats. So we're at the device level now. So we're able to show you response time, packet loss, CPU memory, network latency and packet loss. Charts are very interactive. You can change the time frame. Or if you want, you can open what we call in per stack, which I'll show you later. We also monitor the interfaces on a device. So when you run a network discovery, you choose what interfaces you want to monitor. And sometimes customers come to me and they say, Mark, I don't want to monitor every interface. That's fine. You can monitor your uplinks only if you wish. But you can monitor any physical or virtual interface once we can read it through SNMP. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill down into an interface details page. And this is showing me all the interface related metrics. I can see receive send utilization. I can see percent utilization and read time. Nice chart showing me the interface downtime over the last 24 hours. Again, we'll get the interface name, the MAC address. What we do then is we read the interface bandwidth, and we show you the current percent utilization passing through the interface. When you have the network configuration manager installed, this will show you a nice little snippet here, and it'll show me the snippet of the interface config. We can also show you errors and discards there. So you can see here the various different power consumption, etc. So you're going to get detailed metrics at the device and interface level. The network tab also comes with the network performance monitor, and this is going to show you all the network related information. So what I'm able to see is the topology information, the layer 2, layer 3 topology data that's gathered through SNMP protocol. And I can see this device is connected on this SQL server and what ports they're connected on. What you're seeing here is the flapping routes, any neighbor changes. Again, this can be all alerted and reported on. What you're able to see then, if I scroll down, you're able to see the interfaces. You're able to see the list of VLANs. And you're actually able to see the devices interfaces which are tagged or untagged in that VLAN. We also do VRF management with the network performance monitor, and we can show you which interface is in the VRF name. The Orion platform also, the Orion map feature provides contextual data, and we can build maps out in the database. So what you're able to see here is you're able to see this core device and what devices it's connected to, and you're also able to see if there's any high utilization or errors in this card. So once I select the device, I'm able to see the port, and I'm able to see that it's having high errors in this card. So that allows me to investigate this a bit more detail. What I want to jump over to now, guys, is a great feature. I would have loved when I was a network engineer if I had this feature. It's called NetPath. And NetPath, the way I describe it to customers, it's a bit more advanced than traceroute and tracecert. And what it does, it provides a hop-by-hop analysis to show packet loss and latency from a source to a destination based on a port number. So what you're seeing here is, I'm just going to expand this out, guys. This is the Windows server. And you're able to see this is the device with the agent, the Windows agent installed. We're using a mix of protocols here. We're using ICMP, TCP, and BGP data providers. So quite clearly, I can determine from looking at the visual representation, I cannot get out of my network and reach this host. The history show me the latency and packet loss. And these red bars show me when it's critical. I can see the visual representation that there's been a high traffic utilization passing between these interfaces. And when I have the network performance monitor and the network configuration manager installed on the same server, then I can show a config change. And what we're seeing here is a before and after. And if I scroll down, we'll highlight and color code if anything has changed. And what I can see here is somebody has changed it to the internal interface and it can't get out. So that's what's causing the loop on my network. So I just want to show you another example, guys. If I'm going to, we say Office 365, and this is going externally out of my network from our East data center. And you can see the devices which are monitoring on my network, and then you'll see if there's any latency and packet loss. What I'm also able to do is I'm able to select my ISP, my service provider devices. Now, obviously, we can't monitor those devices. But what you're seeing here is I can see the latency and packet loss, and if they expose the email and contact details, we can display that. Now, what I want to focus, that's just show me a Cisco device and that NetPath feature. What I want to do then is I want to show you some additional function. What we have is we have network insight for Cisco ACI. So what this does, it gives me a bit of insight. It works for Nexus, ACI, Palo Alto. What it does, it gives me a bit of insight into my VPN tunnel and the tunnel status. So what you're able to see here then, along with the various different interfaces, you'll have this platform. So the platform will show me if the firewall's in redundancy, RAM, CPU, the connections over the last 24 hours. But I'm also able to see the status of my site-to-site VPNs. So I can see if the status of the site-to-site, that didn't roll off my tongue, apologies. the site-to-site VPN, the status, if it's up or if it's down. We can see the encryption and the hashing method that's being used there. What we're also able to do is see my remote site-to-site VPNs. So if I look at here and somebody said, can you filter out on my IPsec tunnels? We sure can. And you're able to see what users connected and how long they were connected from. We also offer this feature for your, with the network performance monitor. We also offer this feature for your Nexus devices. And what we give a bit on the network kit is we give you a bit of insight into your virtual port channels. Along again with the regular Vital Stats interface network, you're going to see the virtual port channels. So you're going to see the two interfaces which are configured within the virtual port channels. So you can see this port and this physical port are configured on this virtual VPC20 port channel. And I can, when you have the network configuration manager, you can see the various different configurations there as well. So that's a nice little feature to have. We also do wireless monitoring out of the box. So we support various different vendors. You can see Aruba, Cisco. And what you're seeing here is my access points, and I can see the various different clients. I can see the signal strength. I can see the bytes received and transmitted. And we also can interact with Meraki. We have an API to get into the Meraki. And then we'll show you the various different clients, etc. that are connected. Okay? Again, we have various different alerts built in out of the box. So you can alert when you're seeing a high response time on a device. And that's a common one that I get from customers. If I'm getting a high response time, can I back up the config? You will need the network configuration manager then, and there's an action within the alerting engine allowing you to back up the configuration of the device if the response time goes over 180 milliseconds or gets close to 200 milliseconds. You can make a backup of the device. So with our alerting engine, we give you alerts out of the box. It's just a matter of enabling these, turning these on or off, or you can also create your custom alerts as well, your own custom alerts for specific devices. Again, we have lots of email actions. We can integrate with ServiceNow, our own SolarWinds Service Desk integration for ticket systems. And the most common way that we integrate with third-party ticketing systems is through email. And you can send syslog traps. There's multiple actions. There's also a reporting engine. Okay. And this reporting engine allows me to create, we give you reports out of the box, but you'll also have the ability to create your own custom reports. So if I look at one of these interface top 25 utilization, I can view this report here. So as you can see, my Nexus devices are having the most utilization. I can customize this report and I can schedule this to be sent to individuals and recipients. Now we have a great feature here as well in the network performance monitor. It's called a knock view. So this gives me a knock view that tabs through various different pages, and you can customize this to show whatever data that you want. So you can set the time interval to every 10, 15 seconds, whatever you want. You choose what widgets that you want to display, and that will tab through on a large screen if you're using a network operation console. Now one feature I want to go back to, just two features. Within the Orion platform and the network performance monitor, there's a feature called PerfStack. So this is kind of the way to do new charting within the platform. And what you're going to see here then is I can load projects. So I know I have a network project here. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at 3 devices. We're looking at response time, packet loss, CPU, and total average % utilization. So you can see my east, my west, my proxy. But what I can do is I can add more entities if I want. But if somebody came along and asked Mark and said, listen, show me peak receive bytes on my MPLS circuit, I can select the MPLS interfaces, and I can choose to select peak receive bytes. Again, I can change the time frames. But what you're also going to see here is this little rocket ship or spaceship. What this allows me to do then is, once I have this little spaceship or rocket ship, we can give you a 10-minute window of real-time data. And I click Start Real-Time Polling. It takes a second or two for the data to load, but what you're going to get is this to be updated in a second. Okay?
We call that the SpaceX feature.
That's the one, John.
Elon Musk is driving those little tiny rockets.
That's it. Along with his electric cars and everything. But you get the idea here, guys. It's going to start showing me all the real-time metrics in real time. Okay? So there's the real-time data coming in. And if somebody says to you, look, the MPLS circuit is spiking, I can come in here and have a visual representation, right, say what's going on here right now. I know John mentioned Juniper as well, so what I'll do is I'll leave this and I'll show you a Juniper device, what we can do for Juniper. Again, along with the
bonus item.
This is a bonus item now. Wasn't planned for today, but we'll show you a bonus item. So you can see the various different devices there. And we can drill down on the device to see how it's performing. You can see it's enabled for NetFlow or S-Flow, JFlow and S-Flow. Again, you're going to get these tight vital stats, these interface tabs. You can see the interface that you're currently monitoring, drilling down, the network information, etc. So you're going to get that all out of the box. And again, you're going to get the current hardware health for fan, power supply, and temperature with network performance. So there's some good in-depth monitoring there. We also have a great feature called Orion Maps. And this allows me to build maps. Now on the Cisco side, then we can give you a bit of insight into your Cisco ACI monitoring as well. I'll show you that next. And then I'll start going into the NetFlow. So this is a map I like. But we also give you the ability to create your own custom maps as well. On the Cisco ACI, we can give you a bit of insight into the API controller on your tenant, your leaf and spine, your profiles. And I can see the members, and I can see the health scores here. So I can filter on the entity type. I can filter on the health score, distinguished name. Once I have here, I have the various different entity types. So I can see the spine, the leaf, the endpoint group, the application profile. One thing I like about this then is I can select this, I can click this, and it brings me into the perf stack. And it shows me the health score over time. So if I wanted to analyze the historical data, then I can. So that's a nice little feature here. So one of the most common questions people ask me is, why would you add NetFlow to the network performance monitor and get in great detail? And what I tell customers is, actually one thing I forgot to show you there, what I tell customers is, NPM will show you the spike on the interface traffic, but it doesn't tell you who and what is consuming the bandwidth. That's where the NetFlow traffic analyzer comes in. What I wanted to show you as well, this is what network performance monitor can show on a UCS, Cisco UCS. So it shows me the fabric switches, the chassis, the blades, etc. And I can also see the UCS error logs and failures as well. So if you add a UCS device into network performance monitor, this is the type of data that you're going to get. So what I'm going to take you now is, we know that the interface is spiked, but we want to know now who and what is consuming the bandwidth. So this brings us to our NetFlow traffic analyzer. So this is using flow data. We're looking at all IP layer 3 and layer 4 data all out of the box. But we do have an option there with application traffic if the Cisco devices support MBAR2. We leverage Cisco technology. So we're multi-vendor. Again, you can see Cisco, Juniper, HP, various different. We support NetFlow version 5, version 9, S-Flow, J-Flow, IPFix, NetStream, Cisco Wireless Size, NetFlow. So what you're able to see then is you're getting a breakdown of what's actually consuming the bandwidth. So I'd expect this on my lab. I can see the SQL server and the additional polling engine, and they're taking up, it's only 2% in the lab there, but you get the idea. We're giving you a breakdown of the ingress, egress, bytes, and packets. So what you're seeing here is the devices which have been enabled for NetFlow, S-Flow, J-Flow, whatever it is. And what I can do then is I can drill down on the interface level to get more details. So we drill down on a specific interface. I can change the time period. I can get down to 1 minute granularity. I can capture both ingress and egress traffic if I wish. Click submit. And then I can filter based on IP version 4 or IP version 6 as well if I wish also. So what you're seeing here, also one thing to note for Cisco devices, the class-based quality service, you can create your class-based quality service and we can pull that through SMP and we can show you if there's any various different drops in your policy maps. So what you're seeing here is a breakdown of the protocols. UDP is taking up in 83, and in today's environment with all the collaboration through Teams and Zoom, you expect UDP traffic to be high. An endpoint is essentially an IP address within NetFlow Traffic Analyzer, but we can also see a specific endpoint, and we can drill down into the endpoint to get more details. I'll show you that shortly. Again, we're looking at layer 4 traffic here now, so we're looking at all the port numbers. But if your devices support MR2, then we can get a bit more into like Netflix, BitTorrent, the various different Facebook, all these. So you're going to leverage that Cisco technology for that. Again, I can see the domain traffic, the conversations, and I'd expect this to be taking in my lab that there's a little additional polling engine right into the SQL database. I can click in the conversation details. And this is going to show me a date and time stamp, the direction of traffic, etc. once I drill down. So here showing me the conversation between these two endpoints. I have a date and time stamp. I have the various different protocol. You can see SQL traffic and the amount of bytes and packets. The idea behind this, guys, is to tell me, is this legit traffic, which I would expect on my network between an additional poll engine and the SQL server, or is somebody streaming, okay? And I know John is going to jump in. He loves jumping in with this point. We're seeing an awful lot of more requests for Teams traffic, etc., because people are using Microsoft Teams, and we have a great blog on that. We can send that on as well.
Yeah,
but what you can do.
Actually, just a little point is, you're right, I'm going to jump in. So there's a video we've just uploaded onto our YouTube channel as well from Kevin Swerenberg, who's based in the US. And he goes through in a little bit of detail how you set up NetFlow Traffic Analyzer to monitor Microsoft Teams and other like Zoom and so on, right? So if you get a chance to check that out, it's only like 3.5 minutes. You can have a look at that on our YouTube channel.
And look, John, while we're on the point, I'll give him a quick overview.
There you go.
So what we have is applications and ports. Microsoft, especially Teams, they've publicly listed all the IP addresses. So what you could do is, like, I'll just edit an existing one. You can add an application with all the various different port numbers, etc., that they use. You can define the IP address groups that you use, the protocol. And what happens here then is what you come back is you can create a summary view. Now, to me, this is the most powerful feature of the product. It's called the NetFlow Traffic Analyzer Flow Navigator. What this does, it allows me to create filter views on the various different flow data sent to the in. So what you can do is you can either create an application group or an IP address groups and call it all the Teams IP address, or you can add the application in here and you can filter on it if you had Teams in here. So it's a nice little view. I can get a summary view, or if I want to get down on a specific interface or a device, I can as well. So that's a nice, great feature there to help you create custom views. I've used this with my customers. Sometimes people would say, we're having a specific traffic and interface, and you can create a little summary view. It's disabled on the online demo. What you'll have is a little button here saying, here to say save as a custom view. And all these views that you see, these are all created like the highest transmitters, the IP address. I call this my problem link when I'm dealing with customers in POCs. And then this allows me to create a custom filter, and we can just click on the link and view the data over time period. Now, what I also want to show you here is, all right, let's have a look at an endpoint, okay? So you're seeing the top 5 endpoints. You're seeing the interface that your traffic is transversing against. We're going to drill down in the interface, okay? So within NetFlow then, when I'm at the interface level, what I'm able to see then is we do a reverse host name lookup on it. I can see the endpoints and have conversations. We have another product called User Device Tracker. That shows me what port the MAC address is connected on, and we can also integrate with Active Directory to get the most recent users. Now, there's a question in the inbox there on any updates in Meraki. We pulled Meraki out of the box through SMP. But we did bring in a feature there where we can integrate with the Meraki API on the wireless monitoring. So there is an API built in, and we can do traditional SMP monitoring as well. There's also documentation for the switches and routers on Meraki's website to get you some more in-depth. They've actually built in on their own website, they have a good guide on how to enable SNMP and polling SNMP. Again, it shows me the specific endpoint, the conversations, the protocols it's using, and that gives me a good insight then if I want to drill down on a device, okay, for a specific endpoint. We also have alerting built in out of the box, so you can create alert. I like this alert that you can, if an application threshold exceeds a certain volume, or flow data no longer is received. So if the device is not sending flow data, then you can see here, and you can generate an alert on that as well. So it gives you good insight into who and what is consuming the bandwidth. And that's a nice little summary dashboard here. Again, you can search the applications based on endpoint address, host name, etc. So it's going to give you good insight into what's consuming the bandwidth. The next product that we go into is the Network Configuration Manager. Okay. Now, all our products, an awful lot of what we do is performance monitoring, kind of analysis, trend analysis, etc. This is the first tool that's going to give you some real management capability and allow you to make changes against the device. So again, we're vendor agnostic. We have various different devices, out of the box templates devices, we call them, device templates. So what we do is we make a connection to the device through Telnet and SSH, and then we execute commands and scripts through the CLI. What we also do is we can back up binary files for our F5 devices. Now, obviously, we can't show you like an insight into the config because it's a binary config, but we do have the functionality to SSH and back up a binary config through SCP. Now, again, this is a summary view. You're seeing the vendors which we support out of the box. Again, what you're going to see, this core device that I was looking at earlier, it shows me the startup running configs. You can see here if there's this is a great resource I like here. It's called a last config change. You can change this to the number top 5, top 10, whatever you want. There's a change on the firewall. So what you can see here is it shows me before and after, and if we color code if something has been added. And somebody's added an access list there. Somebody made an ACL change. And you know, that changes like that are very important to capture because you know how it's going to impact your network. We do policy violations. I'll talk about that shortly. Firmware vulnerabilities. We connect to the NIST database and we do a daily update on that, and we'll show you whatever devices. So we support Cisco and Juniper now on that. We've added Juniper for that. Again, there's various different charts. This is one I like, backed up, which is not backed up. When I worked as a network engineer, one of the first things if something went wrong with a device, we have a config backup. And this will show you which devices which have never been backed. So it tells you that you need to address this and get a backup. And it's very easy then to roll back to a backup within the platform as well. So what I'll do is I'll drill down on 2 devices. I'll drill down on that device I showed you all the performance metrics earlier. Okay. So you're getting all this lovely performance metrics from the network performance monitor. Then you'll have the NetFlow analyzing the flow data. Then you'll have this little config on the left-hand side. So what I'm looking at is an individual node here now. I can see the status of the node. I can see the firmware vulnerabilities. I can see the policy violations, any config changes. Again, we'll have a look here. So somebody, maybe they're having the IF index issue there and they set it to persistent. So you can see that CLI command there, okay? Again, we can back up a config, we can download running config, you can compare configs, and you can roll back. So somebody said to me, let's roll back to this running config, and I can upload that to TFTP, Telnet, or SCP, okay? So what I'm going to go to is the config management tab here. So this allows me to make on-demand changes to a single device or multiple devices. I can select one, or I can select all. I can download a running startup, I compare configuration, so I can run a config change report, or I can execute scripts. So if I wanted to, I can do a show run. We also have a pending approval list. When that's enabled, that can be, this button will say request approval. When I click execute, I'll execute this against all my devices, and then I can see the transfer status here. And that shows me the results of the config download. So show run is essentially downloading the config. Going back here, I can see my inventory status. So we run a network inventory. I can have script management for various different scripts, like if I wanted to change SNMP description. And you see the CLI commands there. We can also do baseline management. So you can define a config as a baseline config. And what we do then is we tell you if there's any mismatch lines, and we'll show you the mismatch lines then as well, which are from the running to the baseline. That's a nice little feature there as well. And there is a pending approval list under the summary page here. What this does is there's NCM roles. So you can define a role that you might want to say, look, any changes have to be done within the SolarWinds software. And what this does is I can view and see the changes that the user wishes to make. So I can see the script. So they're looking to do this on these two devices. And I'm going to open this in a new command because it's small. And they're looking to build out a new class-based quality service there for the VoIP infrastructure. Okay. So then I can see the nodes and I can either approve or decline this. That's a nice little feature in NCM as well. Okay. The config change templates, these are more used for automated tasks. If I wanted to change the community string on a Cisco device, you can define the variables. Select the node. You can do this on your Juniper device as well. You can create your own templates. It's a nice little wizard to walk you through that. The compliance section then, this is, and I know John mentioned that in the security side, the compliance section that allows me, we have various different HIPAA, SOC, Cisco reports, PCI reports. HIPAA is the Health Authority one. And what that's looking for is S&P community stream public. It can't be enabled on the network, and it has to have the enabled password encrypted. It shows you the violations. Not only will it show me the violation, I can have a remediation script to execute on the node to take it out of violation. It'll show me what line that we found the violation on. And if I scroll down here, you'll see 201. I found S&P public was within the configuration. So that allows me to do very comprehensive compliance. The jobs, we can do scheduled jobs then, like if we want to maybe back up devices, reboot devices, etc. Now one thing, we also do firmware upgrades for Cisco, Juniper, and Lenovo devices. So you can add from a repository, and there's a wizard that takes you through that. It looks at the image and it'll upload the image. One thing I wanted to show you before I go away is, I showed you all the features, but I want to show you then what we can do on the ASA side. And this will be the last thing, because I know John will be giving out to me for running over on time. So what we can do is, within the Network Insight, along with all the VPN tunnels, you get your config back up like you would any other device, but what we're able to show you now is your access list. So we're going to give you insight into any access lists that may be redundant or overlapping rules. So I can see that there's 5 overlapping rules, so let's investigate this now. So we highlight the overlapping rule and we show you why it's redundant. So we tell you, based on this rule here, so this will optimize your firewall that it's not doing reoccurring checks. And I can give you a bit of insight into your ACL optimization. And you can compare ACLs as well if you want. So I'll leave it there on the demo side. I hope you got a bit of insight. Actually, I won't. I'll just show the guys there, John. I know you mentioned that. And when I go to the app stack and SAM, this is what the server and application monitor can show then. So I can see my chassis service in the app stack view. And I'm actually able to drill down and get more details here. I'll double click on the chassis. And here you're getting the hardware health. You're seeing the hardware health overview. You're seeing the chassis and app stack, and you're seeing the blade servers there as well.
Yep, and then you can drill down into each blade as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time. I hope you found the demo useful. If there's any questions, fire them into the chat box.
Yeah, there was one question popped up on Cisco Meraki, so I sent out a note in relation to the SolarWinds Success Center on that, but the level of detail we can do in Meraki. Mark, what's your experience with that?
Well, the level of detail, what we can do is for your routers and switches, again, you can do the network monitoring. Meraki have their own documentation up there on that to enable that. But what we have built out is we have built out a Meraki API that can go for the wireless controllers then.
Okay.
And we can pull the various different data here, like the client name, the IP address, the MAC address, and again, you see the amount of bytes received and transmitted for your wireless infrastructure. Regular Meraki devices like your router switches, again, you're going to get all the regular information like the interface, traffic, network-related data.
Super stuff. Okay, so thanks, Mark, for the comprehensive end-to-end. Lots of content in that, and we could spend a lot more time digging into the details. But the objective of this session was to kind of show, people on the call, the breadth of the offering that we have for Cisco and Juniper environments. By the way, if you want to have, we have an ITOM brochure, as they say, which can provide you with a nice overview of what SolarWinds is offering into the marketplace, from the framework and the pillars and the products that are in each of those pillars and so on. So that's available. If you want to get a copy of that, we can send on a PDF version of this to you. And of course, also we have the SolarWinds Success Program, Customer Success Program, which kind of wraps around all of the product offerings and the solutions offerings that we have, which are just as important as the products, because people will have a loyalty to an organization, not just in the product quality and the product range side of things, but also to the services that we can offer to you. So if you're a SolarWinds customer, or you're becoming a SolarWinds customer, you get access to your own private customer portal. You have access to a SolarWinds Success Center, which is over 20,000 technical documents and videos allowing people to kind of get started and so on. And if you need help getting started, we have the SolarWinds Smart Start services, which is available through SolarWinds or through our partner network. And this is really a number of hours that you can purchase to get you up and running, get you value from the investment very, very quickly. And of course, SolarWinds Academy, one of the best kind of training academies in the industry. And when you're signed up as a SolarWinds customer in maintenance, you have free access to all of these virtual classes, instructor-led classes, e-learning classes, etc. And if you're brave enough, you can go ahead and do the SolarWinds Certified Professional exams. They're not easy to pass, but fantastic for technical folks out there to get those certifications. It's ranked in the top 5 network certifications in the world right now. Of course, TWAC is there, as we mentioned already, so you can get lots of great information on there. And of course, you get your SolarWinds support as well. And there's 3 levels of support. Professional support comes with the license. Premier support is additional services that you can get. And then the enterprise support is the highest level of support that we offer to our clients out there. And then, of course, we rely on our partners around the world as well. Some of you guys may be working with our partners locally. We provide them with a partner portal where they can get access to lots of great information as well. One thing I just want to kind of show you as well, guys, is the service desk side. So Mark showed us the alerting engine. So I'm just going to share my screen here for 1 second and just show you what service desk looks like basically. So in here you can see the service desk incident management page. But if you go to the menu, it's got lots of capabilities in here. So there's incident management, problem management, change catalogs, release management, solutions, service catalogs, CMDB management, inventory, procurement, you name it. So very, very broad capability within service management. In the incident page, you can see all the various types of incidents that can come in here. So there's office equipment requests, email is running slowly, there's some HR requests in here as well, life event beneficiary examples. And if I just jump down to number 468, which is my go-to call here because I know it's an Orion alert on a device. So here we have a high response time on an R1 device. It's a critical event. It's a networking or assigned to networking team, and it's an Orion alert. And if you click on the event itself, you will go in and you'll see the kind of SLA management. Now, we don't manage the SLAs on the demo site, so some of these numbers are really ridiculous, but the SLAs that you're going to look out for in the real world will be the response SLAs and also the resolution SLAs in there. And we also have a direct link into Demo Remote Everywhere, which of course is our technician support tool, which allows people to go off and create remote sessions and help people to manage and fix systems. And then you'll notice here as well, you've got a link back into the device. So if I click on the R1 device here, it'll bring me straight back into the Orion demo site and bring me straight to that device as well. So if you're talking to the network team and you want to look at the same page and have the same common language, you can drill into that there as well. So that's just a very quick view of the service management side of things as well. So with that, thanks very much everybody for joining us today. It's just under the hour, so we'll give you a couple of minutes back. But SolarWinds as an organization, we strive to be an easy-to-use organization, something that can scale as you grow, and of course affordable as well, which is key. And it's the way we do that is you can purchase what you need when you need it. If you've got a specific issue that needs addressing right now, one of our products can fix that, and then you can start connecting the products together into a platform to give you that full stack capability. So to wrap things up, I'm just going to run 2 very quick polls. One is just in relation to, would you like a demonstration? Would you like to schedule a demonstration later, either yes or no, or later in the year? Let us know, and we can set that up for you. and we can have a discussion about your own environment and to see where we can help in that regard. Okay, so I'll give you a few seconds to answer that one, and then just the last poll I'll run after this as well. So I'll give it another 5 or 6 seconds. People are still responding. Okay, I think that's that one done. And then the last one I just want to do is would you like to see any kind of indicative pricing? Because obviously people always say, well, how much is this going to cost me? Right? It's like Mark, he's out buying his new Ferrari recently, and he was asking, how much is that going to cost me? So we can certainly, if you want, we can get in touch with you. We can have a conversation. You can give us an indication about your environment, and we can provide you with some indicative cost estimates and so on, just to show you the affordability of the solutions that we have. Okay, so with that, thanks everybody. Mark, thank you specifically for that very in-depth demonstration, very comprehensive, and hopefully everybody on the call got great value out of that. Grania, thank you for helping us out in the moderation side of things, and of course special thanks to everybody who joined us today. We do appreciate your time. We know you're all busy, so we have lots of other webcasts coming down the track as well, so we've got some similar vendor type webcasts looking at SolarWinds and Dell environments, SolarWinds and HPE environments. And we also have a specific Juniper one coming up, so we threw Juniper in as a bonus today because we probably realized that Cisco people have an interest in Cisco, but they may also have some interest in Juniper there as well. Just a quick look at the Q&A. Any last minute questions? There's a question there. Would it be possible to generate a report from a script? Not sure exactly where that is in relation to, but
you can definitely create your own custom scripts. But I'm not understanding the question fully. Would it be possible to generate a report from a script?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It depends on the context of that, really.
Yeah. You can run a custom SQL script against the database if you wish. And it was 2009, John, for UCS. Cisco introduced it, so you weren't far off. 1 year off.
Not too far. I'll take that. Okay, thanks everybody. Listen, have a good
Thanks,
rest
everybody.
of the day, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye now. Cheers.